There does seem to be cross-party support, though, for welfare reform.
Exactly, Wags. They shouldn't have voted until it was clearer.
Some people in your party have argued that people are being trapped on benefits. What do you make of those arguments, and how are you going to ensure that taxpayers' money isn't wasted?
Well, I share them. I fed into the consultation on these reforms as well, and I want things to go even further, so we look more holistically at people. So we, as I said in my speech, we don't just look at what people can't do, but what they can do, not just about work, but about the whole of their lives, what adaptations can be put in, how technology can help. There's so much that we could offer people, and I think at the moment there's straight up and down, whether or not you get social security or not, is simply not enough, and I want a more public health approach, so we really do support people well in our communities.
Your action has damaged.
So I'm going to say something to what she just said. Talking about letting people work who can work and finding what they can do. So I'm doing that. I'm doing TikTok. The money I earn from TikTok, I declare. I go over a certain amount, then my benefit starts going down. So I have a, what's the word? I have an amount I'm allowed to earn before I start losing some of my benefits, okay? That needs to be made clearer to people, that they can earn some money as long as you get the right permissions first. You have to go through the process of doing it at the job centre. And then you're allowed to declare what you're earning, and threshold, thank you, that's the word I should have used. So you declare all the money you earn, and when you earn so much, then your benefit starts going down. That is under the universal credit, I don't know the correct words for it, so I'm apologise. I don't know the correct terminology, but you know, the universal credit rules. I don't understand it fully. I don't know how to fully explain it. That is a brilliant system. No, it's not ESA. ESA is gone or is out the window. ESA is no longer available to new people. They're trying to take people off USA and move everybody over to universal credit. Once everybody is on universal credit, which it should be by the end of this year, employment support allowance will be gone for nearly everybody. There might be a few people who can't be moved off ESA for various reasons, but I don't understand that, but it will be very few people. Nearly everybody will be on UC. That system needs to be talked about more. But I'm going to share another example. Access to work. Access to work is an absolute joke. Access to work isn't talked about enough. Access to work is incredibly difficult to understand, especially if you're self-employed. Access to work is a nightmare to try and get. But access to work doesn't pay you as the disabled person. Okay, I want to make that clear. Access to work doesn't give you more cash in your pockets. Access to work, say for example, this is an example, okay? Somebody needs to travel to and from work and they are very disabled to the point they cannot use public transport, okay? But they've got a job. They need a driver to get them to work and get them home again, okay? That is called access to work. That is where access to work should fit in. And they're making it very difficult to get people that type of thing. Another example for access to work is the correct equipment. Now, you don't get the money for the equipment. The equipment is awarded to you as the equipment you need. So you're assessed, blah, blah, blah. That type of thing. That's what type of thing access to work covers. But it's so difficult to get. And it's like a minefield. It really, really is. I've been down that road a couple of times over the last 15 years. Last time I did it, I gave up. That was about 10 years ago. The last time I tried to go down the access to work route was about 10 years ago, and I gave up. It was when I had my shop in North Wales, and I was trying to get help with some of the things I needed for the shop to make it easier for me to run the shop. I ended up giving up. Apart from anything, my health deteriorated even more, and when my health deteriorated even more, I had to give up anyway. It's very expensive being disabled, Welshie, and people don't understand that. It is, Crimson. From what I've understood from other people, it's even worse now for access to work. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm talking about 10 years ago. It's now even harder. And why is it more expensive? Okay, Maisie. I'm going to use a very basic figure. Okay, I'm going to use a very basic figure of £100. Okay, say for example you earned £100. I'm going to use person A as a fully abled person. Okay, person A is a fully abled person. They can jump on the bus, they can jump on public transport, they can walk, they don't have to worry about it. They can wake up in the morning really easily, they can grab breakfast, get out the house, go and catch the bus, go to the train station, get on the train, walk at the other end, no problem at all. They go to work, they do the day's work, they come home, they have a social life, and they start the next day tomorrow. You know, you get the idea. And they earn £100. Then you've got a disabled person doing the same job. But that disabled person can't go out the house, get on a bus, and get public transport to work. They have to pay to get to work via a more expensive method, like taxis or something, because they can't use public transport. It's nothing to do with bus passes or whatever. They can't use public transport. Not all disabled people can use public transport. I've got a fairly good wheelchair, basic wheelchair. I can get on public transport, but I have problems sometimes. Imagine if you're a wheelchair user who can't use public transport. How do you then get to work? You can't just pop out and go to work. You have to really, really organise yourselves. That costs money. Keeping your upkeep with your wheelchair, that costs money. Keeping the car running, because you have to have a car. You can't rely on public transport. That costs extra. There's extra things and gadgets you need day-to-day life. That costs extra. You need help to do things. That costs extra. I don't know what the exact figure is. Okay, so please, I'm not going to get the exact figure right. But a charity survey, something in the UK recently, said it costs over £1,000 a month more to be disabled than the average person has. That's what PIP helps with. The big thing that everybody is missing is PIP is not an out of work benefit. So all these people who are saying we want to get people off benefits and into work, you can't get people off benefits when it's not an out of work benefit. It's open to everybody. You can't just get up and do stuff. It doesn't work that way. Luna, you just pooped on my shoulder again. Sorry guys, just bear with me. Have I got it all? Not till September, August, Mr. Dodger. August for the dermatologist. That's August. I'm not talking about UC Heartstopper, I'm talking about PIP. At this moment, I'm talking about PIP. Okay, there's 2 or 3 different things going on here, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Okay, I'm not talking about 16 to 21 year olds. I'm talking about disabled people, full stop. I'm not talking about 16 to 21 year olds that are on universal credit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about disabled people who are on PIP. Disabled people. And again, forget about the government changes at the moment. What about the ridiculous bureaucracy that's going on in the DWP? What about the absolute mess the DWP are in doing PIP and the PIP assessments? How much money the DWP waste on PIP assessments that get rejected and then go to appeal and are overturned at appeal because the PIP assessors aren't trained properly and the PIP assessors throw people out when actually they should be awarding PIP. I want to see if anybody else wants to come in the box. If anybody else wants to join in, if anybody else wants to come in and talk about it, please do. If anybody else would like to come in and have a say something, please do. I'd love to hear from other people and hear what other people have to say. I really would. They're untrained, full stop, Mr. Dodger. They are trying to get people to look more at saving money than awarding PIP to people who need it. They're more interested in saving money and turning people down. That's what they're doing. They're more interested in saving money for the DWP than actually awarding PIP to people who need it. I'm just going to hear what this is saying. Hold on.
Similar, and that's because there's pressure on finances.
That's right. It's true in Britain, it's true in America, and it's true in many developed democracies. This was an issue that was a big problem facing Britain before COVID, but COVID's...
I'm not sure what they're talking about. Yeah, I know money doesn't grow on trees, but the thing is, disabled people need the help. Living as a disabled person costs a lot more. And I'm not just talking for myself, I'm talking for all disabled people. Oh yeah, Atos was the worst, yes. Am I stressed? Yes, Linda. That's why I'm stuttering a little bit. As people know, my stutter comes out more when I'm stressed. Cozy Bay, thank you so much for the greeting heart. Thank you, Cozy Bay. Kaylee, we're talking about the government welfare bill, which has passed through the reading it had today, and what it means for disabled people, and I am furious. I can't express to you guys just how furious I actually am. Because I'm not talking about for me even, I'm talking about for other people going forward. Yes, that is the end goal, Keslers. But basically what they're forgetting is people with disabilities need help. People... Okay, I don't know how many people in here are fit and healthy. Okay? I don't know how many people in here are fit and healthy. But they're talking about making it a lot harder to get PIP because they're talking about changing this new 4-point rule. And this new 4-point rule is going to mean that so many people could lose their PIP. And so many more people will be judged on a a rule that's not fair. Yeah, it's not a luxury. People think, oh, £400 a month, that's a lot of money. No, it's not. When people realise how expensive being disabled is, £400 a month is nothing compared to how much some people have to spend on disability. I don't know, Kaylee. That's what I want to find out. Yeah, they're basically turning around to people and saying you're not disabled enough. That's what they're saying at the moment. I quite agree with you, Ems. That's because so many people are at the moment going to appeal and winning on appeal. They're wasting so much money by people taking them to tribunal and appeal. They're not getting it right in the first place, and they're wasting billions doing that than getting it right in the first place. Actually, Parker, if you look at the disability fraud, it's something like 0.02% for disability fraud. Because PIP is so hard to get, it's something like 0.02%. It's so small. And that's what a lot of people don't realise. YOLO, I actually agree with you. They should look at health records more, because the assessments are done by people who don't know you. The assessments are done by people who are not medically trained, and the assessments are done by people who want to save money, and they get bonuses for saving money. I'm not worried about myself, Dot. The changes at the moment won't affect me. I'm actually pissed off for the people it will affect, and that's some of you. This is the thing. Kaylee, this is the understanding I've got. The understanding I've got is, yes, they keep it, but the question is when they come up for reassessment, do they get judged under the old rules or the new rules? Little Munchkin, I hear you. I hear you. Little Munchkin, I hear you. You may be non-verbal, but I hear you. Alright? I hear you. Loud and clear. I want to pin that. I hope you don't mind. I want everybody to hear that. I want everybody in this room to hear that. Everybody should be judged under the same rules, Sammy Babe, yes. Everybody should be judged under the same rules. There shouldn't be a two-tier system. Little Munchkin, I'm giving you a follow back. I don't know if you do lives, but if you do, I'll come in and watch. They need to get it right in the first place. At the moment, they're trying to repair a broken bill. So what they're trying to do is, they've got the current situation. This is how I see it, okay? This is how I see it. They've got the current situation, the current system. They've written a bill that, oh yeah, we'll throw this bill together. The bill they've thrown together is so broken. They're trying to fix the broken new bill rather than then listening to people who are disabled, listening to the campaigners, listening to people. They're not doing that. They are saying, we're going to push this bill through. Rather than what they should be doing, which is not writing a bill yet. They should be consulting people. They should be saying to disability groups and disability charities, how can we get it right? Not writing a bill without input and then saying, well, this is what we're doing, take it or leave it. They're getting it round the wrong way. They need to be listening before they done it. They haven't done that, Sean. That's what they haven't done. That's what they haven't done. They've not got the work projects they're talking about setting up. They haven't even started creating them yet. They haven't improved access to work. They haven't said how they're going to get these people into work, that they're going to take off benefits. PIP. They're going to take PIP away from people to get them into work. Hold on, PIP is not an out of work benefit. They're not listening to them, no, Sean. They might have a minister for disabilities. You think one minister can do everything? No, they can't. They need to get it right. They're rushing it through. They're so rushing it through. They will, Loza. They'll have many deaths on their hands. They'll have people who are so scared, who don't understand what's going on this evening. They're going to have so many people out there scared, even right now. I feel for so many people, I really do. I'm just going to have a quick look and see who else is online who's a disability talker, and see if I can see if there's anybody I can talk about this with who I know is a real disability talker. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm just going to have a quick look and see who else is online. No, none of them. None of the ones I follow are online at the moment. I like this. You can work, Annette, why don't you? Right, so I'm working right now. TikTok is my job. Okay? That's number one. I am self-employed. I'm registered as self-employed working on TikTok. I declare my money that I earn every month. Okay? That's point number one. If I earn more, I don't get less benefits, all right? People turning around to me and saying you can work. Actually, I can't go out and get a job. I can't do something one day and do it every single day. Yeah, I can do something once, one day. It doesn't mean I can do the same thing every single day reliably. It doesn't mean I can do it repetitively. It doesn't mean I can do it safely. It doesn't mean that other people who can do something one day can do it every single day. Could I turn up to work every day on time? No. Could I be relied on enough to be able to sit at the job and do the job for 8 hours a day or 4 hours a day or even an hour a day? No. And that's what people don't understand. Samurai, right. Number one, Samurai, I'm not on TikTok every single day. No. Secondly, my hours vary drastically every single day. I will in a second, Matthew. Some days I can do more, other days I can't. When I'm working for myself, I can choose where I am. I can be sat in this chair, I can be sat in the garden, I can be sat in bed. Can't do that when you work for a company or a business. There's so many things that other people don't understand. Yeah, Lauren, so have I. As soon as somebody sees a disabled person applying for a job, they discard it because they've got 100 other people applying for the same job. Why employ somebody who's disabled when you can employ somebody who's not disabled and it's a lot easier for you? That's what goes through the minds of so many bosses. Right, I'm going to bring Matthew in because he wants to. I've no idea who Matthew is. I've seen him around a little bit, but I don't know who Matthew is.
Hello?
Hello, Matthew.
Can you hear me all right?
I can indeed, yes. And you sound like you're over 18.
Yeah, I am, yeah. So
I always ask everybody, so I apologise.
Yeah, so like basically just to answer like what because you're saying you're a bit confused. Anyone before November 2026 that's up for renewal will be on the old system. After November 2026, everyone, even if you've already been awarded PIP, will be assessed on the new 4-point rule.
That's the problem, Matthew. That's not what I'm hearing.
But what? Just one more thing. But if you are denied it on your reassessment, there's automatically a 14-week grace period,
Matthew,
so you can
I've heard that's been scrapped.
No, it hasn't been scrapped. No. So there's going to be, because there's obviously going to be so many people that are entitled that they're going to now say aren't entitled. They've given you a 14 weeks to say what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm getting muddled here. To basically appeal it.
So Matthew, I'm just going to stop you for a second. Little Munchkin's agreeing with me. Lane is agreeing with me.
No.
That's been scrapped.
No, it's definitely not. It's on the. If you go onto the government website, you'll see it there.
Okay, I'm going to stop you, Matthew. It's not that I don't want you to say it. I don't want to confuse people even more because my understanding is that was the original plan, and my understanding is that has been scrapped.
Well, from what I can see,
that's my understanding.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay?
I'll get off anyway.
I don't want to argue with you, Matthew. I'm just saying.
No, that's grand.
My understanding is that's been scrapped. There you go. Daisy said it's on the news. It's been scrapped.
Oh, okay. No,
this is the thing, Matthew. I really want to make.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
What I don't want to say to you and other people. Matthew's right. I don't know that you're right. I don't know that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going by what everybody else is saying. People are saying in here.
Yeah, well,
Elaine, I don't have Sky News.
It's so confusing, actually, because I'm just looking at the comments here saying it's on Sky News. Like, it's very confusing because the government website saying one thing and I've Sky News on here in the background is saying a different thing altogether.
Exactly. This is
so I don't think they even know themselves, to be honest.
No, they don't. This is the problem. This is what one of the MPs on earlier on said, and this was a Labour MP saying it. She was saying that the MPs don't know what they voted on. It's not clear.
Yeah, it's very strange. Anyway, I'm going to drop down and let someone else
join. Thank you for coming up. Do you know how to get out?
I don't. If you can kick me, that'd be great.
I can kick you. Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
Cheers. Bye.
There you go, guys. It's not that I don't want Matthew to talk. Quite happy for him to talk. The understanding I've got is that has been scrapped. That was the original plan, but that bit has been scrapped. And this is the thing, I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and I'm getting more and more confused. Is there anybody in the chat who is currently affected by this and wants to come up and talk about it from their point of view? If you're currently affected by this and you want to come and talk about it, please come and talk about it. Please request a box and I will happily bring you in as long as you're over 18. Poppy May says, I don't get why you're stressing about it so much. It's not happening this year. Poppy May. Okay, Poppy. I'm assuming, now correct me if I'm wrong, please, Poppy. I'm assuming you're a fit, healthy person working. She is, TC. I completely agree with you. Poppy May, I apologise. I'm only going by my own assumption. You can please correct me if I'm wrong. Poppy May, you say you can save. Doesn't work like that, Poppy May. Right, you're a fit, healthy person. You're one illness or one accident away from being disabled. You're one illness or one accident away from being a wheelchair user. This is for everybody. I'm angry about this, not just for me, but for everybody. Because why have a two-tier system? Why have a two-tier system? When I can, if the rules are that I stay on the old rules, but new people who become disabled next year on the new rules, that's more unfair on them. I'm not talking about UC, Sean, I'm talking about PIP. I'm talking about personal independence payments, which is not an out of work benefit. I'm not talking about unemployment benefits. I'm not talking about me, Poppy May. You're missing my point, Poppy May. I'm not just cross about this because of how unclear it is. I'm cross about this for the injustice for everybody. Pixie, I don't know how this will apply to you then. If you're still on disability living allowance and haven't yet transferred over to PIP, Pixie, you might be of the category, I don't know how old you are, Pixie. I know you're one of my regulars and I don't know how old you are, but you might be in that age group where they're not transferring you to PIP because eventually you'll be on the older person's one. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. So you're younger than me, Pixie. So why have they not transferred you to PIP yet? To me, that doesn't make sense. It's not about blame, I am, Victoria. It's about the government getting it right. Hey, you find Poppy. This is the thing, Poppy May. I want people to understand it's not just for people like me who are already on it. It's for people in the future like you who could need it in the future, and you get judged under completely different rules. And you know what? A couple of years time they sneak a bill quietly through Parliament. Oh, we're just making an amendment. Everybody's being judged under the same rules. They U-turn so quickly on things. What's to stop them U-turning on that? Lily May, what would my suggestion be? I don't know. I'm not one of those people who can work on it. I'm not one of those people. You can't have one person making these decisions. It can't be done in a very short space of time. They need to take it back to the very basics. Here's a couple of examples for you. If they funded the mental health system better, and I am talking mental health, not physical health for a minute. If they funded the mental health system better, the mental health side of disability, if they went back to the very basics of supporting people with mental health better, and they put a lot more money into mental health schemes, and they put a lot more support into helping people and treating people with mental health, I mean a lot more money, I'm talking billions. If they did that, they would end up over the next 10 years reducing the mental health bill and bringing people off of PIP who are mentally ill. But they need to take it back to the very, very basics. Sammy Babe UK, where did they get the money from? I could say a few things there, but I don't want to upset anybody. Care Bear bag came from TK Maxx last year sometime. Yes, Sean, but new people come along, I agree with you. But if they had the mental health funding in the first place and they treated people earlier, they wouldn't have the backlog they've now got. The backlog they've now got of people being not treated, therefore they're living on benefits because they're living on benefits because they're not being helped with their mental health. And that's wrong, Lou. This is the thing. Over the last 20 years, the NHS, over the last 30 years, the NHS has not been funded properly by any government. I hear you there, Jake, and I agree with you. They're judging everybody under the same label. Oh, I totally agree with you, Maisie. I'm just using mental health as an example. I'm just using that as an example. Okay, I'll use my other example, ME. Hungry Girl, I'll come back to you on that one. I'll use my example, ME. If they put more research into ME, if they did more funding on research for ME, there wouldn't be as many people with ME in the UK who are as ill as they are if they did more funding and research into proper treatments for it. If it doesn't affect me, why am I reacting? I think that's what you mean, Hungry Girl. Because I'm angry about a two-tier system. I have the right to be angry over a two-tier system. I have the right to be angry over a government that's not helping everybody. I have the right to be angry over a system that's not treating everybody equally. Exactly, Holly. Beth, sending you love, Beth. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Luna's right here. Quite happy. Cooling down. There's Luna. She's up there. She's playing on her perch and she's quite happy. Nothing's wrong with her. Home life with JNT, I agree with you. They need to start supporting all areas so much better. Oh, I completely agree with you, Fluffins. I'm not talking about different disabilities. I'm talking about they can't have a two-tier system when it comes to PIP. When it comes to universal credit, they can't have a two-tier system under how people are judged. Future-proofing says, why don't you become an MP and make changes? I couldn't be an MP future-proofing. I'd actually love it. But you know what? I'm not well enough to do it. I'm not. I wish. I'm not. Does anybody else want to come in and talk about their experiences? I'm opening my boxes, guys. I'm saying if anybody has an experience they want to talk about. If anybody wants to come and talk about it from your perspective. This is your chance. If you want to talk about it from your perspective, I'm giving you a chance. Auntie Linda, I couldn't agree with you more. If any of you want to come in and talk about it from your perspective, I'm more than happy for you to do so. Because it's so important that the government get this right. And at the moment, I feel so strongly that at the moment they're trying to push things through that people don't understand fully. And I'm talking about MPs and don't understand what's going on fully. They're trying to push things through that just don't make sense. Cheryl Pop, come in the box. It doesn't matter. You're entitled to your opinion. Yes, I have Heartstopper. I filled in the online what's it called? The online letters that some of the charities have set up. I filled in a couple of those and sent them off to my MP, yes. Basically, like I said, guys, everybody who's watching this live, even if you're a fit, healthy person at the moment, you are one accident, one illness away from being disabled. And people don't understand that they are one illness, one accident away from being disabled, and they would be judged under these new rules. I'm actually saying that it would be wrong for people to be judged under rules that are harsher than people who are currently on the same disability benefits for the same condition. Cheryl, if you go down to the bottom of your screen and click the guest button, or I can invite you in. See if I can find you on the list, Cheryl Pop. I've just sent you an invite, Cheryl Pop. There you go, I've sent you an invite, so it'll probably flash on your screen. That's okay, Cheryl Pop. Yeah, take your time. Hold on. Sison 96. I don't know who you are. Okay, that's why I turned you down, because I don't know who you are. Okay, I had so many I get so much trolling. I don't know who you are. Okay, so if you want to come in, if you are over 18, I will let you in, but if you start trolling me, I will throw you out again. If you want to come in and talk, that's fine, and have your opinion, that's fine. But we keep it nice, we keep it kind, we keep it polite. You're entitled to your opinion. Emma, I see you saying the government is losing money to people abusing the system. Emma, do you know how hard it is to get PIP? The fraud on the PIP system is something like 0.02%, something like that. And the amount of money that is spent on appeals and tribunals is in the millions because it's not assessed correctly in the first place. Sammy, there's so little fraud and people on it that shouldn't be, because PIP is not an out of work benefit. Yeah, Luna's my parrot, yes. You're welcome, little munchkin. Okay, Cheryl, I'll re-invite you. Hold on. I think that's you. I think that's you, Cheryl Pop. Did you get it? No. PIP assessments are not done by doctors. Sorry. I said earlier on today, my carpal tunnel is being triggered more by the heat, and I've got pain shooting through my fingers at the moment. Cheryl Pop, are you coming in? They're not, Elle. That's the point. People think they're done by health professionals. They're not. Yeah, Pat, I've been sinking my arms and my wrists into bowls of water and sinks of water. Exactly, Leanne. Okay, Leanne, Cheryl Pop, I'll do it again. Oh, I've got you. There you go. That should have worked, Cheryl.
Can you hear me?
I can. Hi.
Hiya.
One's yours. I'm going to shut up for a minute.
Basically, what I want to say is up until about 5 years ago, I'm 38. Up until 5 years ago, my life was okay. I had a job, I had good income, and then had an operation, and my life completely changed.
Yeah.
And I'm with a lot of people on here. I know there are people that abuse the system, but what I find really hurtful is the genuine people like yourself and like me and like others on here with like autism and that. We're penalised because we can't work, and people don't see on a daily basis what people go through. And I find it really sad that as a society, we have that opinion of people. You didn't choose to have what's wrong with you, same as the lady didn't choose to have autism. I didn't choose to have my illness. So I find it very upsetting that with all this going on, I understand that there needs to be a change in the system, but I'm just worried they're going to penalise the wrong people. I mean, I read not that long ago, a lady had her PIP removed. She had dementia. How do you take away dementia from PIP from someone with dementia? So that's where I'm coming from. So I'm cross, but I'm also very sad that in today's society, we are like this towards one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really want to say, really.
I agree with you, Cheryl. I mean, do you understand where I'm coming from? It's nice to be able to have somebody to talk to about it. People are saying in the chat, why are you angry? Because if you're not going to be reassessed on the new rules, it doesn't affect you. I'm angry because it's a two-tier system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm angry that the fact that in a minute, people that are going to, have a claim and they're genuine claims, they're going to go through all the hoo-ha of like appeals and that. Life is hard enough with a disability as it is. It doesn't need to be made harder.
Yeah.
And I just find it, when I was working, I will confess, I was one of these people, you know, that would say, oh, look what they've got, you know, in their house. Because I knew people that were on benefits, and I would make a comment, you know, I'll put my hands up to that. But now the shoe's on the other foot. It's like, not everybody is like that. There are genuine ones out there. You just don't see it. If that makes sense.
Ladies.
Hello, Sammy. I think I've spoken to you before, Sammy. Can I just ask you to confirm you're over 18?
I'm like 55. Trust me, I'm
I'm
over
just asking
18.
you, Sammy. It's just really difficult to tell with profile photos.
Right, okay. I've got one thing to say, and one thing only. For all the genuine people on PIP, if you can work or not work, or you just need the PIP to get a car so you can work, I have got no problem with that at all. And you're entitled to it. You should have it. But there is plenty of people that have dodged the system on PIP. There are plenty. There's a guy down my road, right? I'm not kidding. He's like 35. He does running twice a week. He goes out for a run for about 5-6 miles. And he's got a PIP car. You tell me what is genuine about that PIP. If he can go for a run, why does he need PIP?
Okay.
I think that's kind of what I touched on, the fact that for all the ones that are claiming who don't need it, it's putting all the claimants that are genuine being tarred with the same brush.
Okay, Sammy, I'm going to be 100% honest with you and say I actually think I know somebody in the same boat. I know of somebody who has a PIP vehicle. They hardly ever use it. And the PIP vehicle is with another member of their family to use every day. A PIP vehicle is meant to be for the person who gets PIP, not for somebody else in the family.
You can actually nominate another, because there's a lady next door to
I'm
one.
saying you can nominate another
I'm
driver to drive.
nominated to drive her car.
Yeah, you can nominate another person to drive your car for you.
Yeah, I take her to the hospital and
Have
back.
somebody to drive the car for themselves.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
But no, all the genuine people, I think PIP's been one of the best saviours for people.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people on the PIP system that don't need it. And maybe this is why.
If you believe you know somebody who is cheating PIP, now I'm going to say this. Now, remember, I don't know this person, Sammy. I know nothing about them. Okay? But I'm sure you understand what I mean by hidden disabilities. Now, hidden disabilities aren't just physical hidden disabilities. They might, and I remember, I do not know anything about this person apart from what you've just told me, Sammy.
Okay, so he goes for a run twice a week.
Let me just
He
finish.
does his garden and he works full time so he can do a job.
Okay, I didn't mute Sammy. Carry on, Sammy. You can carry on. Who muted Sammy? Who muted Sammy? Sammy, I don't know who muted you, sorry. Wasn't me. My hands are here, it wasn't me.
I mean, I know him well because I get on well with his kids. We go around for barbecues, so I know what he's like as a person. I know he has a mental job. I know he does a lot of gardening. He does a lot of running.
So why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him? Why
Maybe
don't
I
you talk to him and understand it more? He might be able to explain it to you so you don't have a negative opinion. Then again, you pointing out to him might make him go, oh yeah, maybe I don't need the car anymore. Maybe I'm not entitled to PIP anymore.
Yeah, might be worth conversation. But I'm just using him as an example.
That's the way to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just using him as an example, but I've heard of other people I know that are on PIP that don't need it. And like you, they've got a car and they don't actually use it, someone else uses it. I know another case of that as well. So there's plenty of people misusing PIP, shall we say?
I know of people who misuse PIP. Like I said, I know of somebody who's got a car on PIP. They do not use the car. They do not drive. And I'm aware that their family member has the car, and the car is hardly ever at their house. And they hardly ever get into that car. And I'm aware that that person, the family member uses the car on a daily basis. I think that's wrong. I'm friends with this person. I'm not a close friend. I just know them. Does that make sense? Acquaintance rather than friend. But is it my position to judge? Because if they're entitled to the car, yeah, they shouldn't be misusing it. And this is what I don't get. I'm like, nobody should be misusing the system. Nobody. And before other people attack me saying I'm misusing the system, no, I'm not. Because I know there will be people on here who turn around and say that I'm misusing it. Well, I'm not.
You go to that argument and say it's not just PIP. Look how many people on universal credit that could actually work, that don't want to get off their backside and get a job.
Yeah, Sammy, can we do me a favour and we're not turning this into a attack on people, please?
Okay, but I'm just saying, it's not just one area. The whole system has failed, regardless if it's national health or if it's unemployment or if it's benefits. It's the whole system is wrong.
I do agree with you that the system needs changing. The system needs taking a lot back to basics. The system needs a lot of work doing to it, and they shouldn't be trying to pick and choose. I want to say, Sammy, thank you for coming in the box and having your say.
Yeah, I'm going to go anyway.
There are other people who want to come up and say something.
Yeah,
I've got some people
I just want to come up, say hello.
All right, Sammy, thank you very much for coming up. Do you know how to get out, or shall I kick you out?
No.
Okay, I'll kick you out. Sammy, thank you very much for coming up. Bye-bye. Sam Eliza wants to come up. Hello, Sam.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound like you're over 18, so I'm not going to ask you.
Yes, I definitely am. I just had to put the point across listening to the other lady that some disabilities you cannot see. Yeah. And I totally understand there are probably people out there that are cheating the system, and I do understand that. But I know people, friends, relatives who do claim PIP, and from the outside you would never ever think there was anything wrong with them.
Yep.
But there are, and you know, they get a lot of stick for the claims that they make, but they don't understand what is truly wrong.
This is what I was trying to say.
I just wanted to put that out there to sort of have like a bit of a balanced argument about that we need to stop judging people on the activities they do, how they look, because you never know what someone's really going through.
You couldn't have said it better, Sam.
So I just had to get that across because it was itching me to say it.
Can I ask you, if, without being too specific about things, can I ask you if you can you name any of those things that people might not see so that other people can hear them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not sure of the actual name of the condition that my friend has got.
I'm just going to pour another drink while you're talking. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
I've got another bottle. I'm just going to have to drink what I've got. Carry on.
It's one of those conditions where on some days, you know, she can get about, she can walk, and she looks absolutely fine. And then there's other days where she's at home crippled in pain because she's got something wrong with her muscles and her joints.
Yeah, that's similar to what I've got.
Oh, okay, yeah, it might be a similar thing then. So to the eye, some days it looks like there's absolutely nothing wrong with her, but a good, 3-4 days of the week she's in crippling pain, in agony.
Or very good at masking it and is in pain every day and people don't see it.
Yeah, definitely, potentially, absolutely.
Another example I want to use, I know somebody who's got severe Crohn's disease. And by severe Crohn's disease, I mean severe Crohn's disease. And is in and out of hospital all the time with Crohn's. That's another example. Do you know of any other examples, Sam?
I know of other people that do sort of claim it, but I don't go into asking them why.
No, that's absolutely fine. I was more thinking if you actually knew. I don't want to ask people.
Yeah, but this is the main one, someone I'm very close to, and they get a lot of people that are just so unkind to them. You shouldn't be claiming, etc. But they don't see that side indoors when they're in absolute agony.
Yeah.
And just to think that that could get taken away, someone could report them for misclaiming. I think we just got to be kind to each other. That's the main thing. We just got to.
No, a lot of conditions out there people have where no two people are the same. There's so many conditions out there where no two people are the same. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. You can't put a square peg in a round hole. Hi, Future Proofing. Do you want to join in?
Yes. So I've got a bit of a different point of view, if I'm being honest.
No, that's fine. The only thing I'd ask you is please don't attack anybody, including myself. This is a very general conversation, not about any one person, okay?
So this isn't going to be any personal attack, so don't worry.
That's fine.
I'm more concerned about there's so many people on this app, for starters, that are saying they claim PIP. They look absolutely like they're more than capable of working to me. I know people in real life that are claiming PIP or universal credit, and there's no issue with their ability to work. They're just lazy.
Okay, can I answer that in some way?
Go ahead.
You don't know. I'm talking about people on the app that you don't know personally. Okay. I can't answer for people you know personally. And if anybody else, by the way, wants to jump up in the box and have a conversation about this as well, please do. And my mods will put you in. Okay. So if you want to respond to what Future Proofing is saying, please join the box. You're very welcome to. So my answer to you, Future Proofing, is just because you can see somebody on TikTok and somebody is on TikTok doesn't mean you can see their disability and how it affects them on a daily basis. It doesn't mean you can see the pain somebody's in. It doesn't mean you can actually see their disabilities. Hidden disabilities are so complex. I have a hidden disability. On a good day, people can't see what's wrong with me.
Right, and I get that, but there's lots of people on this app that are clearly capable of working, and they are just born lazy. The same people say that the immigrants are all taking their jobs. You know, it's a joke, like literally. Some of the people on this app, and I'm talking about in reality as well, are made to ready to work, but they're just born lazy. Wow yourself, LTJ.
I'm not going to answer that anymore, Future Proofing. I'm going to say you are entitled to your opinion. That is not a problem. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, it's not just one person.
Can I just say to the comments, we are not talking about any particular people. Please do not name anybody in the comments. You will be muted if you start naming other people in the comments. Okay, I'm giving everybody a warning. If you start talking about individuals in the comments, you will be muted. I do not want this to turn into an attack on anybody. Sorry, please carry on, Future Proofing, if you've got more you want to say.
Just looking at these people, my opinion is he needs to educate himself. I'm a well-educated person. I've got a degree, I've got a master's. I'm not this kind of ignorant person that goes on this app and makes judgments about people. There are plenty of people on this app that are just born lazy, don't want to work, greedy, grabbing gifts on this thing on a daily. It's a joke.
Sorry, I was listening, but I had to get rid of a bumblebee that came in and was attacking me. So I do apologise. Sorry, future-proofing. I was trying to listen.
That's all right.
I apologise for being distracted. I had to rescue my bee from a bumblebee that came in and scared her. It was a big bumblebee.
Anyone can hear me. Sorry. I'm actually filmed.
You sound like you're over 18, so yeah.
Hi,
What would you
I am Annette. I'm actually filmed with filters. I'm on a
hello.
different
Yes.
account.
Okay. I didn't realise your name was John. Hi.
Hi.
By the way,
Nice to meet you,
I'm just
Annette.
gonna
Finally.
apologise. I am having a little bit of trouble hearing people. It's me. It's not anybody else. It's me. So if I can't hear you properly, I apologise. Okay. I'm just having a slightly bad day with my hearing.
Yeah, that's fine. It's nice to finally meet you, and
too.
this is a really interesting subject, actually, because I'll just tell you from experience, just briefly, without going into a story. I was fit and healthy, and I worked for 14 years at Sainsbury's, and I really enjoyed it there because there was a great group of people and everything like that. And then I suffered bad with migraines, and I was quite fit until then. I had I was full time, and then I was told to have Botox injections for migraines. That backfired, and it attacked my immune system and nervous system, and now I'm left with drug-induced lupus. And when I tell you, some days I look completely fine, and oh, she's full of energy, and she can do this, she can work. On the bad days, they don't see that. And I can side with you on that, Annette, with your ME, is some days you look okay, you wouldn't think anything's wrong. And then other days, you're flat on your back, no energy. No one can see that.
Yeah.
No one can see it.
So...
and it's mad how you can, you can't see cancer either,
At the moment, I'm sat here talking. Mentally, I'm okay. I'm very cross and I'm stressed, so I'm stuttering a little bit, but I'm doing okay. Mentally, I'm okay. I'm struggling a lot because of the heat. Physically, like a lot of other people with different disabilities, affected more by the heat, and as a result, it triggers us a lot more. Today, I can barely walk across this room. I'm struggling today big time. So people can't see that because I'm sat here talking. People can't see just how bad I am physically today. So it's exactly what you're saying, Joe. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Well, I'd say the outline reaches on them. Yeah, sorry, nice to meet you girls. I have obviously a hidden disability and I get judged for it. I've got something called neurofibromatosis, which is tumours all over my body.
Okay.
I've applied for jobs and they won't touch me because of the disability. And obviously it's hidden because no one knows of it, no one's ever heard of it.
Sorry. Can you repeat the name again?
Neurofibromatosis, NF1 for short.
Okay, I'm going to admit that I've never heard of it, and I apologise that I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's tumours all over your body, basically.
Okay.
Very painful as well, because they grow on your nerves. Applied for jobs, like you said, there's, like he was saying, there's lots of lesbian people out there, but they won't touch me because of my disability. For insurance reasons, and I get judged for it because obviously I look normal, but inside I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this: it's so many people get judged because they've got a disability that can't be seen, and people assume, oh, you're just putting it on, you're faking it, all this type of thing. It's not true.
Yeah, like people in the commentary are saying people don't talk about it. So what I might do one time is make a live and do a live about it and explain more about it. But it's not a nice thing to live with.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, because obviously some of your tumours can be cancer, Unfortunately, I've got quite a lot that's growing. I've been having seizures, but luckily it hasn't led to epilepsy yet, but that's included in the NF1.
Okay. What do you think, Catherine, of the changes that the government are trying to push through?
It's wrong, I think. Yeah. Come out of bed, I think it's wrong.
Can I interject for a second?
You can.
So, earlier, Annette, you said that it would be good for us to spend billions on, funding the PIP situation for many of the people that are in this life that actually genuinely need it. And clearly there will be lots of abuse as well. Where are those billions going to come from?
That is a good question. And that's not for me to answer. It's not for anyone here to answer. That's for the government to answer. However, over the last 20 or 30 years, the governments, not just one government, the consecutive government after government after government have neglected the NHS. They've neglected improving social care. They've neglected getting these systems right for so long that there's now a 10-ton problem that needs to be sorted out properly by going back to the very basics. I don't know if you heard me earlier, Future Proofing, say that to fix mental health, they can't fix mental health without putting the correct mental health treatments back in the first place. They've cut so much mental health treatment that's why the mental health bills are going up, because there's not enough mental health treatment in this country. Therefore, the mental health bill is going up for people on PIP because... Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm. And also, the waiting list for CBT therapy is over a year.
Yeah.
And I've waited a year for mine, because obviously when I went into a really deep depression with this lupus, I got 2 courses of it. And when they told me a year, I was like, I don't think I can last that long. I feel that dark. I don't think I can last that long. So what do? Throw antidepressants at you like they normally do, just to shut you up. Like everyone's on sertraline. The side effects of sertraline are not nice. I've been on them 6 years. It's about throwing tablets at people, but that's all they seem to want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, also with my disability as well, I can't have children, and there's people out there obviously that can, and that disappoints because it makes like it's best not to have children with the thing I have.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got pain shooting through my fingers. Apologies.
Because they can get it.
Yeah, because if I have a child, I could pass it on to that child, and I don't find it fair.
No, that's
Am I coming through, or is my voice not able to be heard?
I can hear you just about,
Just like, for starters, one of the reasons we're in the mess they're in is because of the lack of spending by the previous government, the Tories, for 13 years.
And before that, future proofing.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go back 13 years, it goes back 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, but have some empathy for the Labour government, who are trying to clean up an almighty mess that has been left behind. There is no way that they can fix those issues
But it goes back even further than the last 13 years. It goes back to the previous governments of Tony Blair and Maggie Thatcher.
Yeah, but the Labour government invested a lot more in the National Health Service and in education than the Tories have ever done.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that it goes back a lot further than the last Tory government. It goes back to the previous Labour government and Maggie. It goes all the way back to the 80s of Maggie Thatcher. It really does.
I mean, the government, let's be honest, the government have kind of ruined this country, okay? We're letting everyone over here, yeah? The NHS has crashed, I wonder why, yeah? And, they're funding too much on too much, let's put it that way. They're doing it on they're doing it on the people that were here long before everyone else. They should be looking after their number one people, and they don't, and it's
Can
crashing.
we-
You could
can
go.
we
But
not-
Joe, the problem is that half of the people that are on this PIP in the first place that are fraudsters are the same people who are claiming that the immigrants are taking all of their jobs.
Can we steer clear of starting to turn it into a who's right, who's wrong?
And what's the point of the debate then?
No, what I'm saying is I don't want to start talking. I'm talking about the current disability stuff. I don't want to start turning it into a mass thing about talking about immigration and all that type of thing as well. Okay, that's not what my life this evening is about. I'm trying to help people with the current benefit changes. I want to talk about that. I don't want to turn it into a mass debate about lots of things.
Am I alright to put in?
Go for it. Hi.
Fabulous. Hello, by the way. Sorry, I
Is that
tried.
Biddy?
Yeah, it's Biddy. Sorry. Yeah, I think I might have kicked up a fuss before because I was getting rejected from the live, but it makes sure.
Can you just confirm for me that you are over 18?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Thank you. Apologies for asking. It's
No,
just
no,
really
it's fine.
difficult for looking at profile pictures. I find it very difficult to tell.
No, you're absolutely fine. Don't worry. I just wanted to come on here. Like I'm 32. I receive PIP. I also have 2 jobs and I work 6 days a week. So like it makes. I think the PIP change to the whole of this should be hammering down on the people that have been in the same position for the last 20, 30 years. Like you said before, the government's been messed up since Maggie Thatcher times. There's also people who have been on this sick pay since Maggie Thatcher times. Like,
can I ask you a question, Biddy?
Yeah.
Are you differentiating between PIP and what you call sick pay? Or
sorry, I don't mean to say like I don't mean like statutory sick pay. I don't mean like that. I just mean like getting paid to say that they have a disability when they don't even make a conscious effort to, like get out of the sort. It was very easy back then to just be able to sign themselves off.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. I am not disagreeing with you.
Completely. And I think those people have made it absolutely horrific for the people nowadays who, like you said, it takes one accident for somebody to become disabled nowadays. I started receiving PIP when I was 25, got diagnosed.
I'm just going to apologise to interrupt you. To the person who says I've been on benefits for the last 30 years, no, I haven't. I've been ill for 30 years. I haven't been on benefits for 30 years. Please get your facts right before you throw accusations like that at me. Carry on.
No problem. No, I think that person.
I apologise for interrupting you.
No. You're absolutely fine. Don't worry. And you'll see people in the comments saying, like, where has all the money come from? They've still managed to pay that money out. They've still managed to put us into a debt that current people, let's say my age and younger, are now still paying that off. Yeah. We're paying that off, and we're going to be continuing to paying that off.
Yeah. My niece and nephew's generation and their children's children are still going to be paying the debts off of this generation.
100%. Yeah, like I just think that I'm very proud of my hidden disability. Like I don't shy away from it. I don't if someone asks me, I'm more than willing to talk about it. People, I don't front it. You would never see it. I've got psoriatic arthritis, and you would never see it. But I take medication that drops my immune system all the way down. So I'm very cautious to getting sort of ill very quickly. So if people ask, then I'm more than happy to speak about it. But I think most people with disabilities who have faced the trials of, oh, well, you're not disabled. How do you, like, you're not ill, you're not this. We're more than willing to speak up and be like, actually, yeah, we are. Like, we are the type of people nowadays to be like, how do you know? We are the type of people to argue back. And I think we should be the ones now, instead of all the people who are saying, oh, I've had a bad back for 40 years, and they haven't gone to the doctors, they haven't reached out, it's just they've claimed and claimed and claimed, we should be cutting them off.
We should be inviting them for treatment, not we. The government, the NHS should be inviting them for treatment to sort out their bad back.
We do, but
they can be sorted out.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is,
can I just interject? Do people in this country know how lucky they are to have the National Health Service that they have? every country
Because
that
America have to
I've
pay
been
for it,
to,
don't they?
every country and the country that I grew up in, you pay for every
I agree
element
with you,
of your.
future-proofing. We are incredibly lucky to have the National Health Service.
But everyone in this country and wants a handout for
But we pay
everything.
for the National Health Service in the sorry, National Insurance pays for the National Health Service as well as paying for the welfare system and as well as paying for the pensions that we get when we reach retirement. That is what national insurance goes towards.
Yeah, but
So
people
we
pay
do
national insurance in other countries. They don't get a free health service.
I don't know about other countries paying national insurance.
Well,
I
that's the problem, though,
don't
isn't
know,
it?
but I'm saying
People
that
in
is
this
how the National
country
Health Service is funded.
expect a handout for everything.
No, not necessarily. I don't think that's right at all. I don't think people expect a handout at all. I think what people should be doing is people that do need the handout will go and actively find the handout.
Billy, I agree.
Could I butt in for just a minute?
Yeah.
Hi, Shauna. Yes, go for it.
Hi. Basically, future proofing, what I just found that you just said was really offensive, and I'm just going to tell you why. Like, as myself, as you call it, a handout, myself, I had a terrible birth 3 years ago, which left me incapacitated due to a failed episiotomy, and also the needle that they did for the spinal had hit a nerve in my spine, meaning that I have very severe spinal issues. Later down the line, in October last year, I found out that I had a tumour. Now, I have suffered with incontinence. The National Health Service, which is absolutely brilliant in this country, which is amazing, you know, but they offer me 3 pads a day for my incontinence. So let me tell you that means that I am prescribed 1 pad every 8 hours. So that means that I can use the toilet probably 3 times a day. In 8 hours, I have to be soiled. And you're saying that I'm asking for a handout because them pads, I don't know whether you go in there, but they're costing me £750 a month, which is nowhere near the benefit that we're getting.
No, it's
I'm not talking about you. Why do you think I'm talking about you?
I'm talking about my country, and I'm just saying it, my personal thing. So other people are going through these things. So please don't come at you're saying about a handout because you don't know anybody's circumstance.
Just so that you're aware.
I'm going to ask you to just bear with me for a second, and I'm going to say something. I don't think future proofing was directing that at you, Shauna, personally.
No, I just mean everybody in general. Like, I'm just saying, from my point of view, I'm sticking up from a point of view of everybody, and everybody has their. What I'm trying to get at is, everybody has their own thing that's going on, and you know, Biddy really got to a point there where no, you can't always see these disabilities.
Yes.
But this is not people like us or anybody who is disabled asking for a handout. We can't help being in this situation.
All of them, but a lot of people who work for the DWP do have common sense. You do have people there who do know what and understand what they're talking about. Not all of the people who work for the DWP are incompetent, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to be generous there. And what they need to understand is that when people look at stuff on social media, they don't just look at good stuff, they look at bad stuff as well. They look at what you can do on a good day versus what you can do on a bad day. And they don't just look at social media, they look at your doctor's records, they look at everything else, they look at all your evidence. So just because you post something on social media, it doesn't mean they're going to say, oh, you're absolutely fine. That's why I'm not scared to post stuff when I have a good day, because I know a good day doesn't mean I'm fine. I wish it did. Yeah. I really wish it did.
The problem is making other people like aware of that, you know, and how that on a day-to-day basis that these disabilities can affect you differently, you know, and you know, you might have different symptoms even on a day-to-day basis of these particular diagnosis, you know, and the thing is
really what I see in this country a lot is a lack of education. Here is a lack of education, you know, for a lot of people. If people were actually educated on these things and how these things impact people's lives, actually, they would look at it very differently. But because they're not educated on this sector and things like that, they don't have a clue, and all they think is, okay, well, we can throw 2.2 billion here, 40 million there, but we'll leave these people there into a 33 million pound investment that we can't sustain for people. Like, it's ridiculous. It's the universal credit as well that needs to be watched, not just the PIP. If they're going to do that, then they need to stop. Universal credit is just as bad. You have people signing on the dole who are thousands, hundreds of pounds up. Do you know what I mean? They just don't claim it to the universal credit, but they're not getting stopped. So why are they only attacking the disabled? And this is what I don't understand.
Well, I just wanted to go on, Annette.
No, you carry on, Picnic.
I know it was Joe.
Oh, it was, yeah, it's me. No, sorry. It's okay. I was just going to say, you know, people get looked down on if they're on universal credit, okay? They think, oh, you know, they've got it easy. They don't have to work. And let me tell you, being on universal credit is more stressful than having a job, because the amount of telephone consultations you have to have, every time it's with someone who you don't know because your work coach is normally off, and you have to explain your entire story to this person, and they change their attitude though. If you actually like explain what happened to you, like most people are quite interested in my story with I was poisoned by Botox by the NHS. That once they hear that story, they're like, oh, that's so bad, but it's interesting. Like they're actually interested in listening, you know. But you do feel nervous. Every time I get a phone consultation, I'm nervous. I'm like, because someone threw at me once, because one of my conditions, I suffer with chronic migraines. I've had everything done, you name it, I've had it, and it's just something I've got to live with. But right now, in the last couple of weeks, I've not had a bad one, but I will have one that will last 2 weeks, and it's chronic. And one of them turned around the other day and said to me, oh, you can work from home on a computer. And I said, how? When my head's banging? How?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you just, they don't think about that stuff unless they have it themselves.
Yeah. This is something I say to people. Sorry. I say to some people who say to me, you can get a job, you do TikTok. I'm not reliable enough to work set hours. I'm not reliable enough to turn up to work. I'm not reliable enough to be even working from home for set hours. I'm not reliable enough to be able to do so many hours a day. This is why I'm self-employed doing TikTok. And that's what so many people don't understand. Just because I'm on TikTok a few hours a week, people assume I'm capable of doing it all day, every day. It's funny how many people think they see me all day, every day.
I actually work part-time, but I struggle to work, and people don't know what it takes for me to actually get dressed and go to work. And a lot of people say to me, oh, why do you put yourself through it? Because I have to for my mental health. If I didn't work, I think I would be even worse. And I know one day I probably will have to give up work because my condition is degenerative. So I'm dreading that day because mentally it helps me.
Yeah, and I totally get that, Picnic.
Yeah.
When I went to the job centre back in 2022, 3 years ago, soon after I started TikTok, and I said to the job centre, look, I'm on TikTok, I've just started TikTok, it's going really well, and suddenly I'm earning some money, what do I do? And they said to me, well, you can declare it and be on universal credit and declare what you earn, and when we adjust it, or you can stop working because we see it as work. And I said, well, I want to work. If I'm capable of doing something, I want to do it. And they said, well done. This is me paraphrasing their actual words. They said, well done for finding something you can do. Not something you can't do. Well done for finding something you can do. There are months when I don't earn 50 quid. There are months when I don't even earn 50 quid. But in the past, there have been months when I've earned enough money that I don't get any benefits.
Yeah.
I
So
think
it's crazy. It really is.
I was just going to interject then and just make a point like what Shauna said just a minute ago, and just mention that like I think universal credit in itself has been ruined by many people. Again, like the same system. It's all fucked. Sorry, my language, but it is. It constantly is. The system is constantly broken. There is so many people who are abusing this that the people that actually need it are getting overlooked and almost put in the same basket as everybody else.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to disagree with you there, because there are some people the system works well for.
Yeah,
practically, like myself. Being on universal credit, I can earn and I get adjusted for what I earn. That is how universal credit is supposed to work.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But then, yes, like you say, there are people who are completely overlooked, and there are people who are abusing the system. Very
completely, 100%. Like I said earlier, I work 2 different jobs. And I claim PIP. But if I was to struggle with finances, there's no help for me. There's no help for, there's no help in...
You're not on universal credit then, I take it?
No, I wouldn't qualify for universal credit.
My apologies for sounding nosy. I apologise.
No. It's I listen. I'm an open book. I'm very, very open about certain things, and it's not even like judgy. Like I'm not trying to like judge you and say, well, this and this. I think just certain things fall under a bracket that a lot of people would find who do work, and this is not a dig at anybody. This is just more along the lines of people that do work. They do tend to put people who are on universal credit in the same basket because it almost seems easier to not work. And it is always going to be tarnished with that brush because of the effect that everybody sort of jumps on it.
Can I just say one last thing before I have to go?
Sure.
It all boils down to, why are they picking on the vulnerable? They could save money doing lots of other things.
Yeah.
They could save millions of money, billions even, doing lots of other things. But anyway, I've got to go now. So thanks, guys. It's been
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Joining us. Thank you so much.
And sending love to everybody. Oh yeah, you too. Sending love to everybody who's got a disability and finds it hard.
Nick, thank you for joining. Do you want me to kick you out, or do you know how to do it?
No, I don't know how to do it. Okay, this is my first ever live, so.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
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 She was really sweet.
I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, mate, to be quite honest, and I think that this is a massive control thing, to be quite honest with you. Like, going at the weakest point first, you know what I mean? Can you not see it? At first, we had COVID, yeah? Which was really bad. I had COVID. I was in ICU, very poorly. But the difference is since COVID and that control of the lockdowns, we've then been threatened with this new virus, now war.
What new
and
virus?
Now our benefit system's going up the water. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's going on really? Like,
I don't know anything about a new virus.
Oh no, they were saying something about some new virus or whatever. I seen it on probably some lies on here or whatever.
Oh, okay. You mean not on the news? Okay.
Not on the actual news. I don't think. I'm not actually
Conspiracy theorists, as you said.
Well, yeah, literally. So the thing is I do feel, why are they coming for us? Do you know what I mean? Why are they getting the weakest links? Because the thing is there's rich people there. Why aren't they being taxed? Why are our taxes being raised and not theirs?
You'll always.
And I bet all of you in here. Did all of you in here get a letter to say that you're vulnerable during COVID?
Yes.
Yeah, I worked all the way through.
Yeah,
literally. But then we're still forced into work. People in healthcare settings, I've seen it myself again with my carers. Like, no matter what, they have to come to work.
I was
You
the
know,
same. I was a
so
support worker for the whole time during COVID and worked the entire time and had a
And what
vulnerable.
thanks do they get other
Yeah,
than
no,
like? There's
absolutely.
no such thing as the working class now. We're all sat here in poverty, barely scraping by to get a meal on our table at the end of the night. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say
how can the king be proud of this country? Because I'm not proud of it.
And I'm going to throw this one in if we're going to talk about COVID. The absolute joke of a government, the absolute joke of Boris Johnson's government having parties and stuff during lockdown when we were supposed to all be isolating and not meeting up with other people. And there were people couldn't even go to their own family funerals and things. And yet they were throwing parties in their office. Absolutely disgusting.
And I can tell you that quite a big percentage of people would still be here if they had their family round their bedside in hospital. Because I lost a friend to that, and I can tell you now, she gave up. But if we'd have been around her hospital bed, we would have got her through that.
But the problem is, if we'd been allowed in hospitals, more people would have gone down with COVID.
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
telling you now, the government should have done jail time over that.
I agree. I actually agree.
100% should have done jail time over that.
Keeping us in like animals, you know, like at the end of the day, our immune systems are shot because of that. Even, do you know what I mean? Like, then they're giving us a virus, and they claim to be able to give us a vaccine for a virus that's been out, and they can't come up with vaccines even for like simple illnesses like measles and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's silly. It's silly. There's always something going on to cover something else going on. The government are very good at masking.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I couldn't have the vaccination because it wasn't long before that I'd been poisoned with Botox. So once that's injected in you, you can't get it back out. So it's given me a long-term illness.
Botox, it was awful.
Yeah, it's coming out a lot now, you know, like the people are really reacting to it. And I'm like, you know, this vaccine, okay, oh, it's been tested. This virus is new. Like, how can you say it's been tested like properly? It hasn't. You can't see the long-term effects. And I'm not one of these people that are like anti-vaccine and stuff, but like, if you can have it. But what I'm saying is, like, if you react, my body's very sensitive to things. And if you react badly to things, then the last thing you're going to do is get injected with something that's stuck in you. I'd rather take the risk. I've had COVID twice, and first time was really bad because you're all aching, you know, I was being sick and everything. And it was very scary, especially getting the letter to say, oh, you're high risk, you know. And people were dying, and you're like, oh my God, am I going to be one of these people? It was absolutely frightening. And to see the government go and do that and have parties with the smirks on their faces, it was such a kick in the nuts to all of us.
Literally, and didn't even offer their workers, the people that they claim are in so much despair, the NHS, they couldn't even give them PPE.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They couldn't even give them the appropriate facilities to keep them safe. Honestly, like, you even hear the stories about nurses even to this day talking about they're still scarred for life, nurses with PTSD, people in our public services. They don't agree with it, but they have to, they've read this book and they have to abide to these rules. You know, and the thing is we can sit here and we can blame the health sector, we can sit here, but really no. What it is our lousy government, and everyone's right since the Tories, you know, it was Miss Thatcher. Do you know what I mean? Ever since then, David Cameron, all that, it's all gone downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Guys, I'm going to have to draw this to a close because I'm starting to struggle.
Yeah, Annette, you look exhausted.
I am.
You do. Yeah.
This was supposed to be a 1 hour maximum live, and I think it's been something like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just over 3 hours.
Okay, good.
So, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's joined this evening. And I mean, there's been a lot of people who've come in the box. Thank you to everybody who's been in and had something to say. I think this is something we could have another discussion about at some point in the next week or so. I'm going to see what other people are saying. I'm going to see what is being talked about. If there are any protests about the cuts, if there are any things planned for next week, If it's cool enough for me to manage to go, I might. The weather at the moment, I'm looking at my weekend away next weekend, and I'm a tiny bit worried that it's going to be too hot. So I'm looking at different options and all sorts of things. So I'm going to say, oh, who's just disappeared? I was going to say thank you to each of you individually. Thank you to whoever's just disappeared. I can't remember everybody who was in the box. Shauna and Joe, thank you. Everybody else who just jumped, thank you.
Thank you for having us on, Annette. It's been a pleasure.
Very much.
Yep.
I will see everybody in the next couple of days. I'm knackered. So
God bless
good
you.
night, everybody, and
Good night. God bless, Annette. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, good night. Nice to
Okay,
talk to you
guys,
and everything.
thank you very much for joining. Do you know how to jump out, or should I kick you?
Thank you. Yes, I know how to jump out. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye. Bye.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know there have been some heart miss and things sent during the live. Thank you. I apologise for not saying thank you at the time, but thank you very much for all the heart miss and roses and things.